A year ago, I made a decision that sounds really simple, but honestly, it changed more than I expected. I decided to start looking in, honing in, and investing in myself again. Now, before y'all start picturing luxury vacations, shopping sprees, and a random $400 water bottle that the internet told me I needed, that's not what I'm talking about. For a long time, I was really good in investing in myself. And then I got really good in investing in other people. My family, my career, my responsibilities, my students, and even my community. Everybody had a piece of my time, my energy, my attention, and even my resources. And somewhere along the way, I realized that I was asking my mind, my body, and my spirit to run on fumes. So over the year, I got quite intentional. And I was motivated to make this video after watching the beautiful Yvette Renee talk about her investment in herself over the years. And I know ours will be a little different. But I really got serious again about my health, my sleep, therapy, invested in better information. I invested in my body, and I invested in my peace. And if you've been around for a while, you've watched a lot of this happen in real time. You watched me lose over 40 pounds postpartum. You've watched me navigating wifehood and motherhood. You've watched me talk about perimenopause, hormones, boundaries, burnout, grief, marriage, confidence, and the messy little things that come with being a grown woman while trying to hold life together. But here's what surprised you, girl. The things that changed my life weren't always the things that I spent the most money on. And some of these biggest transformations had nothing to do with how I looked or how other people thought I looked for that matter. Because after spending this past year intentionally pouring into myself, I learned something that I wish people had told me sooner. The goal wasn't becoming a different woman. The goal was finding my way back to the woman I had been neglecting. Let that sink in. So today I want to tell you what I invested in, what was actually worth it, what changed, and what I would absolutely do again. Because some of these investments gave me results, but a few of them gave me my life back. And before we dive in, you know the algorithm and me are currently in a very complicated relationship. Don't tell my husband. So if you're watching and thinking, girl, you've been all up and through my business, do me a favor and leave me a comment below. You know it's absolutely free. And if your brain freezes every time I ask you about leaving a comment or a like, I got you. Try one of these. I'm overdue for me, or I've been running on fumes. And if you're new here, hey friend, I'm Dr. Nina, a licensed psychologist, full professor, wife and mama, and your internet auntie, sister, cousin, homegirl for all things wellness, personal growth, and figuring this life thing out one lesson at a time. Now let's get into it.
Dr. Nina, the girl next door, beautiful brown baby doll.
1. The best investment wasn't the weight loss. It was becoming a woman that I could trust. The first one I want to talk about is the one that most people noticed, my health. And yeah, that includes the fact that I lost over 40 pounds. But here's what makes this story interesting. I've actually done this before, and a lot of the fam out there that's been around for a long time know I lost over 100 pounds in my 20s. And if I'm being honest, these two journeys couldn't have been more different. The first time I was trying to shrink myself. Let's be real. This time I had to learn to support myself. The younger version of me wanted more confidence. She wanted some acceptance, to prove something, and weight loss seemed like a good destination. But at 42, postpartum, perimenopaused out, building a business, raising a daughter, trying to maintain marriage, managing a strong career. This version of me ain't busy trying to chase a smaller version. I'm chasing a better quality of life. I wanted energy, strength to feel good. I want to keep up with my little girl. And here's what surprised me. The biggest transformation wasn't the weight, it's been the trust. Because look, every workout I completed when I didn't feel like it, and believe me, there were plenty, every walk I took, every time I chose protein instead of pretending like coffee was a food group, every time I chose to go to bed instead of scrolling, I was casting a vote for the woman I wanted to become. And eventually I started believing in my own words again. Now here's the lesson. I stopped trying to win every single day. I started focusing on winning most days, because perfection is exhausting while consistency is changing lives. If you're trying to change your health, stop asking, can I do this perfectly? Start asking, can I do this consistently? Can you walk 3 times a week? Can you add protein to your breakfast? Could you go to bed 30 minutes earlier? I'll take 15. Can you drink another bottle of water? Everyone wants the secret, but the secret is repetition, friend. I didn't transform my life because I found some magical hack. I transformed my life because I kept doing ordinary things long enough for them to work. And somewhere between all those ordinary choices, I stopped just losing weight. And I started becoming somebody I believed in, that I trusted, that I knew the words meant something, and the actions did too. 2, the year I got curious. Better information changes everything. The second investment changed the way I think about health completely. Because what I realized is I had been asking the wrong questions. For years, y'all, whenever something wasn't working, I assumed I just needed more discipline. Tired, try harder. Hungry, try harder. Gaining weight, try harder. Low energy, try harder. Not seeing results, definitely try harder. Meanwhile, my little hormones were somewhere in the background conducting their own little staff meeting, and nobody invited me. And over the last year, I had an aha moment. a realization. One of the most expensive mistakes that grown women make is that we assume that every problem is a discipline problem. Sometimes it's an information problem. You see, I've always been interested in health. I've always been the woman reading the articles, listening to the podcasts, researching the studies, and trying to do all the right things. But at this stage in life, the little generic throwaway advice, it just don't work no more. It just doesn't. I needed more information about my own body, so I got curious. I've been working with a nutritionist. I requested additional labs. Baby, they done drew more blood out of me. I don't know if I got none left. I paid closer attention to my hormone health. I've been staying on top of my mammograms, my pap smears, my preventative screenings, and I've asked more questions. And baby, I advocate for myself. Do you hear me? I don't play around with me. I stopped accepting that everything looks normal when I knew I didn't feel like myself and something didn't feel right. And here's what I learned. There comes a point where wellness stops being about little hacks and it starts being about the data. My body wasn't asking me for more effort. It was asking me for better information, and that changed everything. Because once I had better information, I could make better choices and better decisions. I wasn't guessing anymore. I wasn't throwing random supplements at random problems. I wasn't blaming myself for things that had actual explanations. So if you've been feeling off, here's my encouragement. Stop normalizing it. Track your symptoms, ask questions, get your labs. Schedule the appointment, ask for full blood panels. Full. And don't let people start acting like they don't speak English, okay? They know what a full blood lab is. Okay? Schedule the appointment. Get the mammogram. Get the pap smear. Talk to the specialists. Advocate for yourself. Because I think a lot of women are walking around calling themselves lazy when they're actually exhausted, and scientifically so. Calling themselves undisciplined when they're actually depleted. Calling themselves failure when they simply don't have enough information yet. The investment wasn't learning more or buying a new program per se. The investment was finally learning me and accepting that this is a new me. And that's one of the smartest things I spent any money on all this year. 3. The investment no one could see. The work nobody claps for. One of the biggest investments I made over the past 14 years is therapy. And honestly, it may be the investment that paid me back the most. You see, I'm a clinical psychologist and a school psychologist, and I understand the importance of taking care of the brain. And that's not because therapy magically fixes my life or any life. And not because I walked into somebody's office one day and suddenly became healed, healthy, and unbothered. No. Lord knows that's not how it works. But therapy has given me something over the years I didn't realize I needed at different stages of my life. Tools, language, perspective. There's been so many seasons of grief of different things. Grief of loss of family members, grief of friendships, grief of the way life used to be. Do y'all know I grieved myself before giving birth? I grieved myself before getting married as my husband. Even seasons of stress, seasons of motherhood, seasons where I was carrying responsibilities that were heavier than I wanted to admit, seasons where I was trying to understand who I was becoming while honoring who I'd been. And one thing therapy has gathered me by the edges and gotten me together with is that just because you've gotten used to carrying something doesn't mean it's not heavy. Woo, some of y'all need to write that down. Heck, I need to write that down. We get up, we go to work, we take care of people, we pay the bills, we keep showing up. And everybody assumes that we're okay because we're functioning, or at least we're walking, or we're moving, we're breathing. Meanwhile, we're exhausted and overwhelmed. We're carrying stuff we haven't fully processed. And we're wondering why we feel so tired all the dang time. One of the things therapy also equipped me to do was start examining why I felt the need to perform strength and examine what I was actually carrying. And friend, that's difficult. It's like a slap in the face. Now, because I believe so strongly in professional support, professional licensed support. Y'all caught that shade. I was so happy to partner with Growth Therapy for today's video, and they are today's sponsor. Growth Therapy is your partner in personal growth. And one thing that I appreciate about the things that they're doing is that they're helping to make mental health care more accessible and feel less overwhelming. I was recently checking out their updated website and new branding. Go ahead, Growth Therapy. And what stands out to me is how easy they make the process. You can browse thousands of licensed therapists, read their bios, see their credentials, and choose someone that feels like a good fit for your needs. In fact, I've seen some people on there that I know. Hey. They also work with over 125 insurance plans. And there's no subscription. You simply pay per session. And because life is already busy enough, they offer appointment times that can fit real schedules, including evenings and weekends. No excuses. If therapy is something you've been considering, whether you're navigating stress, relationships, grief, burnout, life transitions, or you simply want more support and tools, this might be your great place to start. start. You can scan my QR code there on the screen or go to growtherapy.co/Dr. Nina to learn more. And thank you to Growth Therapy for sponsoring this portion of today's video, because investing in your mental health is still one of the best investments that you can ever make. 4, the smallest thing that changed the most, learning how to recover. Now let's talk about one of the smallest investments I made all year. My Aura ring. This thing. Amazing. And before somebody says that they sponsor you today, no. They never have, but maybe the Lord will step on in, okay? And some of y'all might be thinking Nina is just a ring. Friend, I thought that too. I did. That's why it took me so long to buy one. Absolutely. They've been out for forever, and I just now got one. But what I really invested in wasn't a ring. It was awareness. For years after giving birth, I treated exhaustion like it was just a personality trait. It was just a part of me. I thought being tired just meant I was working hard. I could sleep when I die. I thought pushing through was something to be proud of. Put it on a t-shirt, baby. I thought resting was something I earned after everything was done, which, as many of us know, means you never actually rest, because, baby, something's always popping up and everything is never done. There's always another email, another responsibility, another load of laundry, another thing somebody needs from you. What the Aura ring helped me to finally see and look at was the fact that I was always operating from an empty tank. Ooh, my sleep scores, my readiness scores, my recovery patterns. They started to tell me a story I wasn't paying attention to, and I really had to dig deeper in this because it also added to a weight loss plateau. I still got another 15, 20 pounds to go, baby. And the story I wasn't paying attention to went a little something like this. Your body keeps all the receipts. You may ignore exhaustion, but your body doesn't. You may normalize stress, but your body doesn't. You might convince yourself you're fine. Your body didn't. And baby, it's taking and keeping notes, and it's in the corner looking at you like, One of the biggest shifts that I made this year is treating my recovery with the same seriousness I reserve for my productivity. And that looks surprisingly practical. Going to bed earlier, protecting my sleep schedule, taking recovery days, paying attention to how I actually felt, not just how I said I felt, and constantly overriding my body signals. Because here's what I've learned. You can't heal a body you're constantly ignoring. So if you're feeling exhausted, burnt out, emotionally drained, or like you're running on fumes, my challenge for you is simple. Stop asking only how much can I get done, and start asking how well am I recovering? Because the goal isn't just to survive your life, right? You don't want to spend all your years doing that. The goal is to have enough energy to live life. And learning that may have been one of the most valuable lessons for me this year. 5, self-care got less cute and a whole lot more effective. One of the biggest surprises of last year is that self-care looked a lot less how it did in my imagination and on Instagram. It don't look like that. Because if social media is to be believed, all of your troubles can be solved by lighting a candle. Oh, don't forget about the bubble baths and the face masks, matching pajamas. And listen, I'm not down in that. I enjoy all of that. Y'all know I'm the girliest of girls. But somewhere along the way, I did realize that another face mask was not going to fix what was exhausting me. What I needed wasn't more pampering. I needed more maintenance. And there is a difference. This ain't that. Self-care started looking like strength training when I didn't feel like it. Protein when I would have rather grabbed what was convenient. Drinking water when coffee felt more exciting. Actually scheduling the appointment. Actually taking the supplement. Going to bed. Washing my face thoroughly and doing my full toothbrushing events at least twice a day. Doing the things that support me consistently. Because grown woman self-care isn't glamorous. Sometimes self-care is just handling your business. One thing that I've learned this past year is that maintenance creates freedom. When I stay on top of my health, my sleep, my movement, my routines, my appointments, including getting my nails done, things like that, I spend less time trying to recover from neglect. Woo! Somebody in the back, Sarah, Keisha, whoever, write that down. Okay, write that down and put that on the video. Because so many of us are stuck on the cycle of rescue. We ignore ourselves, then we panic. Then try to fix everything at once. Then burn out, then repeat. What changed my life wasn't becoming perfect. It was having a nice amount of non-negotiables. Movement, protein, sleep, water, healthcare, you know the basics. And here's my challenge for you. Stop trying to build that perfect routine. Build the one that you'll actually do. Because I'm in your bushes. Because the most effective self-care routine is not the prettiest. It's the one that still works on a random Tuesday while life is lifing. And honestly, that's where the real transformation started working for me. 6. I fired myself from jobs I never applied for. Boundaries here changed everything. Now, this next investment didn't cost me any money, really. Might have cost me some eye rolls, but I don't care. But it may have saved me the most energy, and that was boundaries. So let me tell you something. I used to think that being helpful was always a good thing. I used to think being available was a good thing, or being dependable was a great thing. And those things can be beautiful qualities until they become your entire personality, and that's what people expect all the time. Because at some point I realized I was carrying responsibilities that no longer belonged to me and never did. I was worried about things that weren't mine to solve, managing things that no one asked me to manage, feeling responsible for outcomes I couldn't control. And friend, that's exhausting. One of the hardest lessons I've learned is that helping people and carrying people are not the same thing. Helping is healthy. Carrying eventually becomes too heavy. And over the past year, I've gotten a lot more comfortable saying things like, no, not right now. I don't have the capacity for that. I'll trust you'll figure that out. But let me be clear, that felt hella terrible at first. Because if you're anything like me, your guilt will file an appeal immediately. But eventually I realized something. Just because somebody gets disappointed doesn't mean you've done something wrong. Ooh, let that free you. Let's say that again for the people in the back. Just because someone got disappointed doesn't mean you've done something wrong. One of the greatest investments I've made in myself is learning that peace, my peace, deserves protection as well. And if you're constantly overwhelmed, constantly overstimulated, constantly resentful, or running on fumes, I want you to ask yourself one question. What am I carrying that was never mine to carry? Start there, because sometimes the next level of your life doesn't require more effort. It requires putting some stuff down. And that lesson right there has changed everything. 7. What has actually changed? What's actually changed? So after a year of investing in myself, let's think about it. Yes, I've lost weight. My labs have improved. I sleep better. I have more energy. Those things are all true. But if I'm being honest, those aren't the first things that come to my mind. What changed the most wasn't my body. It was my relationship with me. I trust myself more. When I tell myself I'm going to do something, I usually do it. When my body is trying to tell me something, I listen sooner. When I need help, I ask for it. When I'm tired, I don't automatically assume I'm failing. When something feels off, I get curious instead of critical. And friends, that's been life-changing. Because for a long time, I thought investing in myself meant fixing myself, as if I was some broken project that needed constant improvement. But that's not what this year taught me. This year taught me that investing in myself is not always about becoming more. Sometimes it's about supporting what already exists. Sometimes it's about giving yourself the care, attention, information, rest and support, and the compassion that you've been given to everybody else, all that grace given to everybody else. And if I'm honest, I think that's what a lot of us women are missing. Not motivation, not discipline, not another planner, real support. And as I'm saying that, it's starting to rain. The kind that helps you to stop just surviving and to participate in your own life. And if you're sitting here thinking, Nina, I know I need to pour into myself, but I don't know where to start. Let me make it real simple. Don't start with everything. Start with one thing. Schedule the appointment. Take the walk. Get the lab work. Go to bed earlier. Book the therapy session. Drink the water. Set the boundary. Pick one thing, then keep the promise to yourself. Because the biggest lesson that I've taken away from this year is that transformation rarely happens in one dramatic moment. It happens in hundreds of small decisions that eventually become a different life. And when I look back on this past year, that's what I'm grateful for. Not the pounds, not the numbers, not the milestones. I'm grateful that for after all this time of spending time caring for a lot of other people, I finally remembered that I'm worth investing in first and often. Now, if you've enjoyed today's video, make sure that you comment, thumbs up this video, and share it with somebody that you know needs it, especially the woman that spends so much time taking care of other people that she forgets herself. And before you go, I'd love to know, what's one investment that you've made in yourself that was worth every penny or every bit of effort? Drop it down in the comments below. I love y'all, friends, and I appreciate you. See you in the next video. Dr. Nina signing out. Peace.